You might have been doing this since your teenage years. For many of us, this particular habit probably started back when we were teenagers. Over the decades, it became such a natural, almost automatic part of daily life that you barely even notice it anymore. It's just something you do. For countless people, it seems harmless, maybe even necessary. In fact, it often feels so normal and routine that we rarely give it a second thought. But what if I told you that doing this habit the wrong way could quietly and insidiously affect your heart health? What if it could slow down your blood flow or, in the worst cases, even shorten your lifespan? You'd probably be surprised, maybe even skeptical. Let me share a story. There was a 73-year-old man, let's call him Mr. Johnson, who was found collapsed in his bathroom at home one day. Emergency services rushed him to the hospital, but despite their best efforts, he didn't make it. The cause? What seemed like a simple, private act that he had done hundreds of times before. An act originally intended to relax his body had unfortunately turned into a fatal mistake. Today, I want to walk you through what really happens and how you can protect yourself. I spoke with Dr. Michael Reed, a specialist who's been working in men's health for over 30 years, focusing especially on middle-aged and older men. He helps his patients maintain strength, confidence, and core health well into their senior years. The truth about this common habit. You might have heard people say this habit is safe. And when you're young, it mostly is. Most younger men rarely experience any issues. But once you hit your 70s, your body doesn't function the same way it used to. Your blood flow slows down. Your recovery takes longer. Movements that were once second nature can suddenly carry unexpected risks. In today's discussion, Dr. Reed highlights 4 critical mistakes older men often make during this private activity, and more importantly, how to avoid them. Pay special attention to the third mistake. It's the most common and the most dangerous. Mistake number 1, doing it when your body is exhausted. Many men think, I'm pretty tired today. I did a lot of chores. I'm sore from yard work. But if I do this to relax before bed, it will help me fall asleep better. Sounds reasonable, right? But here's the hidden risk. Even this seemingly innocuous activity triggers a stress response in your body. After 70, that stress hits harder. Your heart has to work extra to keep up. Blood pressure can fluctuate wildly. Your blood vessels lose elasticity. If you're already tired, your blood circulation is sluggish. Add in the surge of excitement or tension, and your blood pressure might spike suddenly, then drop sharply right afterward. This can cause what's called orthostatic hypotension, where you stand up and suddenly feel dizzy, your vision blurs, or worse, you faint. Dr. Reed once treated a 74-year-old patient, Mr. Harris, who was usually pretty healthy. One evening, after a long day of gardening and heavy yard work, he felt sore and worn out. He decided to take a shower to unwind, but shortly afterward, he passed out in the bathroom. The medical team found that the combination of his exhaustion and unstable blood pressure caused his heart to briefly go into shock. Some men also report feeling their heart race, chest tightness, shortness of breath, or even numbness in their hands and feet during these moments. While you might think these are just one-off symptoms, they're actually your body's warning signals. Long term, doing this while tired doesn't just stress your heart. It disrupts hormone levels, leaving you even more fatigued, mentally drained, and less confident. What can you do? Simple. Wait until you feel rested. Pick mornings or afternoons when your energy is higher. Drink plenty of water to stay hydrated. Take deep breaths to calm your body and mind. Choose to sit down rather than stand, so you avoid sudden blood pressure drops. Small changes like these can make the whole experience safer and more comfortable. Remember, what we want isn't just pleasure, but a healthy, dignified, and long life. Mistake number 2, rushing through it without emotional connection. This one's less about the body and more about the mind and heart. Many older men have turned this private act into a rushed, shame-filled chore. No emotional involvement, no mental presence, just something to check off quickly and quietly, like a guilty secret you don't want anyone to know about. Why? Often, it's because of ingrained social stigma or negative self-perceptions about aging. Men might think, at my age, is it even appropriate to do this anymore? Or maybe I'm too old and this is weird. But when you carry guilt and rush through the act, your body tenses up. Your breathing becomes shallow. Your muscles stiffen. Blood vessels constrict, reducing circulation. Your heart and prostate end up working harder. Dr. Reed remembers a 67-year-old patient, Mr. Thompson, who confided that after every session, he felt empty, anxious, and had trouble sleeping. The problem was he never allowed himself to enjoy or connect emotionally. He just wanted to get it over with. If you feel that way too, try shifting your mindset. Create a quiet, comfortable environment. Slow down and approach it gently. Let go of shame and self-judgment. This is a natural, healthy need. When done right, it nurtures your body, regulates your emotions, and restores vitality rather than draining it. Over time, the emotional disconnect can make the experience feel mechanical and unsatisfying. Some men become numb, agitated, or irritable afterward. Physically, sensitivity declines, erections weaken, and recovery times lengthen. Many blame age, but the real culprit is often emotional disengagement. Some try to fix this by going for more intense stimulation, thinking that more excitement equals better results. The opposite is true. It just stresses the body more. The key is to slow down, breathe deeply, and be present. Emotional connection calms your nervous system, improves blood flow, relaxes muscles, and sharpens your mind. You're not distancing yourself. You're reconnecting with your true self. Dr. Reed has seen many men in their 60s, 70s, and beyond who make this shift. They report stronger erections, better sleep, less anxiety, and a rediscovered sense of intimacy with themselves. This isn't about perfection, it's about mindfulness. Ask yourself, are you rushing because of shame or fear of discovery? Are you starting to believe you're too old to enjoy this part of life? If yes, remember, you deserve tenderness, connection, and respect, no matter your age. Mistake number 3, ignoring the safety of your surroundings. Now here's a detail many overlook, but it can be critical. Where you do this matters. Many men have kept the same habit for decades, standing in the shower, leaning against a shampoo shelf, or sitting on the edge of the bed. But as we age, our bodies change. Balance worsens. Muscle strength fades. Blood pressure fluctuates. Reflexes slow. And our ability to recover from sudden movements drops. Standing during this activity, especially in a slippery, hard surface shower, can be incredibly risky. If your blood rushes, your heart rate spikes, then your blood pressure plummets afterward, as it often does post-orgasm, and your legs aren't steady, a fall is likely. Dr. Reed recalls a particularly striking case of Mr. Miller, a 76-year-old man with no known heart problems. One day, after climaxing in the shower, he suddenly blacked out, fell, and fractured his hip. He was on the floor for over an hour before someone found him. Afterward, his mobility was permanently reduced, and his quality of life suffered dramatically. Falls like this aren't just minor injuries. For older adults, a broken hip can lead to months or even years of limited independence, sometimes even threatening life itself. Even if you don't fall, repeatedly doing this activity without proper support can strain your lower back and legs. Over time, it can cause muscle strain, nerve damage, and chronic pain, making intimacy difficult or painful. Many men dismiss these dangers, thinking, "I've done this for years without a problem." But just one incident can change everything. At this stage in life, your body needs support, not stubbornness. Sitting down in a safe, stable place isn't weakness, it's self-care. When your feet are firmly planted, your back supported, and your environment secure, your body relaxes. Blood flows better. Your mind clears. Risk drops drastically. This simple shift also reflects a deeper emotional change. You move from avoidance to respect and care for yourself. So, when was the last time you seriously considered your safety during this activity? Are you giving your body the support it deserves, or just doing things out of habit? Mistake number 4, ignoring the body's long-term silent signals. The final mistake runs deeper. It's about tuning into the quiet messages your body sends you over time. Signals that many men overlook or dismiss. Your body talks to you in subtle ways. Slight discomfort, longer recovery times, unexplained fatigue, mood changes. When ignored, these messages become louder and sometimes irreversible. Dr. Reed emphasizes the importance of listening closely and adapting your habits accordingly. Your body is your lifelong companion. Honoring its signals is crucial to preserving your health and quality of life. The third mistake many men make as they age, and why it matters more than you think. Today, let's talk about a mistake that too many men make, especially as they grow older. It's not flashy. It doesn't always make headlines, but it quietly chips away at your health and well-being until one day you can't ignore it anymore. That mistake is ignoring the subtle changes in your body, especially when it comes to sexual function. Now, I know, it's not an easy subject to talk about. We're taught from a young age, especially as men in Western culture, to tough it out, to say it's nothing, or it's just aging and keep going. But let me tell you, your body is whispering things to you long before it ever starts to shout. And when you start ignoring those whispers, you might just be setting yourself up for bigger trouble down the road. Maybe you've noticed it. You don't get erections as easily as you used to. Or maybe they don't last as long. Maybe they're not as firm. Perhaps you've realized that orgasms don't feel as intense. Maybe afterward, the feeling of deep satisfaction just isn't there anymore. And look, it's easy to brush these things off. You tell yourself, hey, I'm in my 50s, 60s, or 70s. That's just part of getting older. And sure, aging brings changes. But normal aging is not the same as silent decline. These early signs, these soft warnings, are your body's way of saying something is off. It could be a circulation issue. It could be a hormone imbalance. It could mean your nerves aren't firing like they used to. It could even be one of the early signs of an issue with your prostate. But if you ignore it, if you wait for the problem to become unbearable before you act, that's when things can spiral. I've worked with countless men over the years, businessmen, truck drivers, retired teachers, even former Navy officers, and I can't tell you how many times I've heard the same story. I noticed something was off years ago, but I just figured it was aging. You know what that just aging mindset does? It masks real problems. It gives you permission to stay passive when your body is quietly asking for your attention. What started as a slight delay in arousal becomes consistent erectile dysfunction. What began as occasional lack of firmness becomes a painful sensation when urinating. Some men eventually find themselves diagnosed with prostate enlargement, or worse, prostatitis, inflammation of the prostate, which can make even sitting uncomfortable. And it didn't start that way. It started with something small, something they ignored. Let me ask you a hard question. When was the first time you noticed something wasn't quite right? Be honest. Was it last month? Last year? Maybe 5 years ago? If your answer sounds like, yeah, I noticed something way back, but I didn't think it was a big deal, you are not alone. But you are also exactly the kind of man this message is for. Because here's the truth. The body doesn't fall apart overnight. It gives you signals, but those signals become easier to miss as we get older. Not because they're louder, but because they're quieter. Maybe you noticed your sensitivity decreased. Maybe it takes more time and effort to get aroused. Maybe ejaculation feels different. These changes aren't just random. They're not just old age. They're messages. Your sexual function is closely tied to your heart, your nerves, and your hormones. If one of those systems is struggling, your body won't always announce it with sirens. It whispers. And if you ignore that whisper, if you let embarrassment, shame, or pride keep you silent, that whisper can become a roar. And yet, so many men say nothing. They stay quiet. They don't ask their doctor. They don't talk to their partner. They don't even research the symptoms online. They just live with it. 1 year becomes 5. Then one day, it's not something you can hide anymore. Let me say this clearly. Silence doesn't heal you. It separates you from your body. Every day you choose silence, you weaken your connection to your health. But, and this is important, early intervention works. Most problems can be slowed down, treated, or even reversed if you catch them early enough. I've seen men regain their health, confidence, and vitality just by deciding to pay attention, take action, and respect the signs their body was giving them all along. So what can you do? Start small. Go for a checkup. Talk to your doctor, not just about your heart and your blood pressure, but about your sexual health too. Do the basic tests. Ask about your testosterone levels. Talk about your prostate. These aren't taboo topics. They're life topics. Change your daily habits. Eat a little cleaner. Move your body more. Sleep better. Even a bit more walking each day can help improve blood flow and hormone balance. These small acts, done consistently, can create big results. Your body has been with you through thick and thin. It got you through your 20s, through your career, through heartbreak, through raising a family, through retirement. Don't wait until it breaks down before you finally pay attention. Here's another tough truth. Many men unintentionally damage themselves because of pride. Let me give you a couple of examples. There are guys who push themselves to be intimate even when they're dehydrated, exhausted, or under intense stress, thinking it's no big deal. But that puts enormous strain on your cardiovascular system, especially if you already have high blood pressure, high cholesterol, or a history of heart issues. Others don't think twice about position or posture during intimacy. They might be standing bent awkwardly without support and then wonder why they threw their back out or ended up with hip pain that lasted weeks. One slip, one twist, and you're in physical therapy wondering how it happened. But the most dangerous moment of all, that sentence, "I'm fine." You're not fine if your desire is dropping for no reason. You're not fine if you're emotionally disengaged from physical touch. You're not fine if your response is fading. Those aren't just coincidences. They're messages. Your body is saying, "I need your attention." And I want to say this especially to the older men listening. Aging does not mean fading away. Aging is not the end of your value, your vitality, or your ability to feel passion. It's simply a new phase, a wiser phase, a more careful, but more grounded chapter of life. I've seen men in their 70s, even 80s, bounce back after making small changes. I've watched them go from frustrated and withdrawn to confident and emotionally open. I've seen marriages improve. I've seen energy come back. I've seen men rediscover parts of themselves they thought were gone forever. It happens not through magic, but through mindset. When they choose awareness over avoidance and kindness over shame, healing happens. When they stop pretending and start listening, their body starts to respond. And not just physically, emotionally too. There's more ease, more love, more clarity. So, let me leave you with this. Growing older is not a curse. It's not a death sentence for your energy or your intimacy. It's an invitation to live differently, but no less fully. To live with intention, to listen, to honor your body. You are not expired. You are simply evolving. So what will you do next? Will you keep ignoring, hoping the problem goes away? Will you keep pushing through until something breaks? Or will you take that first step today? Maybe it's booking that appointment. Maybe it's opening up to your partner. Maybe it's changing the way you eat, sleep, or move. The choice is yours, and your body is already ready. All it needs is you. That's it for today's talk. If this message spoke to you, if it gave you something to think about, I encourage you to share it. Send it to a brother, a friend, a partner, any man you care about. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel for more wisdom about health, longevity, and well-being. Thank you for listening. Be well, be strong, and most of all, stay connected to yourself.